Hey world, Facebook family, friends and colleagues. This is Isan Pinto again reporting from my living room. World is getting crazy, folks. It's getting crazy. We mentioned the numbers of the pandemic and how the numbers are going up across the world, especially affecting us in the New York City area. It's troubling times. Let me go over the numbers real quick. These numbers are staggering. Globally, 1.1 million. It's up from 800,000. The active cases, 845,000. Recovered cases, 233,000. Fatal cases, over 60,000 globally. The United States, our numbers have risen as well. Last time I reported was 165,000 and rising. Today we sit somewhere around 277,000 cases, with our death numbers rising as well. When I reported last, there were 3,000 deaths in America. We're now 6,500 and rising. Again, folks, if my numbers seem to be a little bit off, please comment, chime in. Let me know what you're finding. These are the numbers that I'm seeing. State of New York, up from 75,000, we're now over 102,000. City of New York, we're over 60,000 cases. State of New York, we're over 3,000 deaths. City of New York, with half of those cases, we're about 1,500 deaths, and the numbers are rising. Same as in New Jersey. When I last reported, New Jersey was somewhere around 13,500 infected. They've now surpassed 30,000. There were 161 deaths in the state of New Jersey. We've now surpassed 650. And folks, my last live was on Tuesday. Connecticut, they've doubled their numbers since we last spoke. They were at 2,500. They're now over 5,000. There were 36 deaths in New Jersey. They're now over 130. Same as our law enforcement. When I last reported, NYPD reported number of infections were over 900. We're now over 1,400. 17% of the NYPD now reporting out sick. Jersey's seeing the same thing. They were at 700 that tested positive on Tuesday. They're no longer reporting. Neither is Connecticut, and it's all troubling because we need to be informed. As a security professional, I mentioned on Tuesday when I went live that I believe that the crime rate was going to go up. Folks, they're not reporting. I had people chime in and leave comments on my last live that was saying the crime rate was down. Crime rate's not down. I have a number of friends and colleagues that are active, some retired, law enforcement, NYPD, corrections, different federal agencies. The numbers are going up. They're just not talking about it. There are people being arrested for coughing and spitting and all kind of things. You traveling around the city, I had a number of my team members working this week. One of my big clients we provide escort service for. We use armed guards and escort their staff out to the public. And I equipped my staff with masks and gloves and hand sanitizer because they were going to be out in the world, and I know they have to get back to their families safely. So I provided those things. And I'm going to tell you, prior to this COVID-19, I think we were paying like somewhere between $3 and $5 for an N95 mask. I paid $15 for each mask. And it's sad, but I had to provide them. I also had the regular surgical mask, but I really want to protect my guys from from being in harm's way as much as I could. Driving around the city, I noticed that there were certain law enforcement members that weren't wearing masks. They weren't wearing gloves. No kind of protective gear. I see that there are academies going on and police training going on now, where they seem to be getting their cadets prepared for getting out into the world and working the streets, and those guys are being equipped with full hazmat suits. So I really don't understand why the officers on the street, NYPD officers and the Jersey State Police officers, are not wearing masks and gloves. I understand that there's a shortage of it, and they're purposing most of that PPE type equipment to medical staff. But our law enforcement agents are getting sick. They're getting infected. They're out of work. And then we're to believe that the crime rate's not going to go up. It's going to go up. There's no doubt about it. It's already going up. You look at the lines at the supermarkets. And I passed Trader Joe's the other day. There were at least 200 people online. And we're talking Trader Joe's on Atlantic Avenue out of Court Street. 200 people online. They're trying to distance themselves from one another, but frustration set in. People get nasty. The store is not providing, in my opinion, adequate security to keep things under control. I don't know. I spoke to a loved one today about the anxiety associated with this pandemic, and I'm handling this thing, I think, relatively well. I understand what's going on. I'm concerned of the health of my loved ones, the security of my loved ones, security and health of my employees. And at times I feel like I'm not concerned enough, because the loved one that I spoke to this morning was very concerned and having a difficult time with this. She's actually considered essential. She's going to work every day. She's experiencing folks that are not wearing protective gear. Although she's equipped, colleagues aren't preparing themselves. She's noticed the change of the public when she's out shopping and things. And when we spoke, I tried to console her as much as I could, but it's difficult. You don't really know what to say, and it's concerning. So, what are the crimes that have gone up? Well, NYPD crimes have gone up: robberies, break-ins, auto theft. You have people getting arrested for spitting and coughing. We got to prepare ourselves. What do we do? For those of us that have alarm systems, that's a good start. We just have to be vigilant, you know. You have to watch your surroundings when you're out in the street. Definitely, you know, they're recommending that everybody have some form of mask when we go out into the street. So you have to protect yourself that way. You also have to be aware of your surroundings. I mentioned on my last live that flashlights play as a good piece of equipment when you go out in the world. You have to speak up. I spoke about all of those things. The time is now. We have to adapt. You know, in talking to some of my friends, we addressed like what we think this thing is going to be like when it's over. If it's over, what's normal? What's normal going to look like? There's going to be a new normal. Things I don't think will ever go back to what we remember prior to COVID-19. Everything is going to change. If you think back to September 11th, the world never went back to the way things were. airport security changed. There were laws passed that allowed the government to do various things that they weren't supposed to do prior. Things are definitely going to change after we go through this. You know, we joke and we say, you know, one day our kids are going to say, Dad, you remember when we used to go outside to play? Yeah, it could be that devastating. Parks in New York City are closed. They're locked. They first started with the police patrolling the parks. Then it was, we're going to remove the basketball hoops. They're now locked. We take our dogs out, we walk around the perimeter of the park because the park's closed. A lot of things are going to change. So I started this forum because I wanted to speak to you guys. I wanted you guys' input on what you're experiencing. Definitely, if you have information about anything involving COVID-19, if you have information about ways to protect yourself, home remedies, information sources, any of that, please comment, drop a link, ask a question now, make a comment now, whatever. We need to share. We got to come together. It's the only way we're going to defeat this thing. I want to give a shout out to Business Travel Magazine. I actually wrote an article a few weeks back that talked about addressing issues with COVID-19. I appreciate them. Karen Murphy, I truly appreciate you. You've been a great help for me and for my business. My brother Ray, still in Dubai. I speak to him every day. I'm so concerned, so worried. We've been trying to get Ray home. Again, he's handling some business for us there in Dubai. I'm thinking of doing a live and adding him on Skype, maybe on Tuesday, so that he can let you guys know what's going on in that part of the world involved in this pandemic. Ray is staying strong. I got a little emotional when I did the live on Tuesday, and I spoke about him because I am concerned. He's got young children here, and he has no idea when he's going to make it back. My nephew is in the police academy. I'm concerned about him. This is a heck of a time to hit the streets as a law enforcement officer. There's so many things that, there's so many things that are uncertain. The numbers are going so high as far as the residents of New York and law enforcement, So please, questions, comments, let's talk. That's what this is all about. Let's share. We got to come together. We must. I tried to, I thought about formats for this and ways for me to structure this. And I wrote a bunch of stuff down, and I wrote a format down, and I don't really want to follow a strict format. I kind of want this to be a give and take, back and forth dialogue of us as a family. Talk to me. What are your concerns? What do you see? How are things in your neighborhood? Are police patrolling the same way they did before this? Are you seeing less police on the street? Are they focused on the things that they typically would be focused on? Have you traveled? What does that look like? There were talks about shutting the city down and locking us down here. The president said that he doesn't believe that's going to be necessary. However, we know that took place in other countries. China got this virus under control. And we see now that they got it under control relatively fast. Because if we look at our curve, it's spiking. It's going up at an alarming rate. And we're not shutting down our cities. How do you feel about that? I talk to my brother every couple of days. My brother's very concerned about it. As he should be. He's probably right. And I know in him communicating with certain friends, he felt like they were listening to him like he was crazy. Oh, little bro, you're not crazy. We're seeing it. We're living it. No sports. We're sports guys. That's weird. No schools. Board of Education, the Department of Education saying that kids probably won't go back to school until September. What's the summer look like? Are we gonna go crazy? The alcohol sales in America are skyrocketing. I guess because parents are home with their kids all day. Unemployment, 10 million people applied for unemployment this week, 3 million last week. Estimates that half of the country will be unemployed within a matter of weeks. It's concerning. What do we do? How do we feel? Talk to me. I have plenty of concerns. And I know we all do. My son, locking him in the house is difficult. He wants to go outside. He wants to speak to his friends. He wants to see his friends. He wants to girls, all of that stuff. And I get it. I've been there. But it's not safe. It's not safe. He does have a mask. I have plenty of gloves. But you don't know. The virus attached to your clothes. It's concerning. So I understand it's difficult to quarantine yourself, lock yourself in the house, only going out for essential needs and goods. I have to go out for work occasionally. I limit the amount of time that I'm out the house. When I do go out, again, I utilize gloves. If I wear the gloves to my truck, I'm in the truck, the gloves come off. My truck, the interior of my truck stays sanitized. I have Lysol in there. If I make a stop and I have to go see a client, the gloves go back on, the mask goes on. When I'm done with that client, when I get back to my truck, those gloves go out. They're garbage. We're not using the same gloves out there. So I actually gave each one of my guys a box of 100 of the plastic gloves, because it does you no good if you're going to use the gloves, walk about in the street, and get back into your car with those same gloves on that may have the virus attached to it. So we're taking precautionary measures, but it starts to feel like nothing is foolproof. Like, we're compromised for sure every time we step out the front door. And every time we step out the front door and we return, we're compromising those that are in the home. So anyway, any thoughts, folks? Any questions? Any concerns? I don't, my brother D said to me, way to scare the heck out of people. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm trying to inform. We have to be careful. The numbers are the numbers. The crime statistics are what they are. They're not telling us, and I know they have their reasons, they don't want us to panic. And we shouldn't panic, but we should be informed, and we need to adapt. So anything, questions, comments, concerns, please, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. How do you folks feel?
Eric Ivy says we should shut down more of the city and try to reduce the alarming amount of new infections.
Brother Ivy, thanks for that, brother. Brother Ivy, I just met this brother, and he's a brother in arms, security professional. Had a good conversation with him this morning. He actually, and brother, I hope that you post the link in the comments. He actually took a training through World Health Organization for this COVID-19 outbreak from a security standpoint. He also took one with OSHA, I believe. Brother Ivy, please post that. I thank you for your comment, brother. I look forward to speaking to you after this live. I'm sure that there's some things that we can do together. I'm always looking for good soldiers, especially now. Please, man, send the link. And folks, look out for him. His name is Eric Ivy. Anything else?
Let's go back. Michael Harris says we are on lockdown in VA until June 6th.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably a realistic timeline. It's probably realistic. I think because it's the financial capital of the world, I think it's going to be difficult to lock down New York. I think the political machine is concerned about economic issues as well as dealing with the health issues. So I think it's complicated. But the beginning of June is probably a realistic timeline for us getting this thing under control somewhat. Everyone I speak to said sometime during the summer, early summer, this thing should start, should peak and start tapering off. So yeah, that's probably realistic. I don't see that happening here in New York, but maybe it should. Anything else?
Not yet.
What are we, my folks in Florida, what are you guys experiencing there? I know that the governor of Florida had some concerns about travelers, especially from New York and from the Northeast, because a lot of our elder members of our family retired there. They're concerned about us traveling there and bringing the virus and further contaminating the state of Florida. I know there's also some concerns in the state of Georgia. I've heard the governor speak there. Have some concerns about some of the things that he said. But what's going on in the other parts of the country? So we just got a brother that chimed in from Virginia. How's Florida look? How's Georgia look? How's Pennsylvania look? What's going on in Pennsylvania? We know tri-state area, the numbers seem to be doubling every couple of days. Like I said, I highly doubt. We have a major interstate that runs through the tri-state area, 95, and it's a major vein, an artery for transporting goods. If they shut the city down, there might be some complications with dealing with that. Not only does I-95 run through the tri-state area, but Interstate 80 does too. And they cross each other at the GW Bridge. That's where most of our freight travels those roads to get to the Northeast. So I know that would be a concern. Then we have a lot of essential staff in New York that live in New Jersey. I had my brother Joseph, worked with me this week. Joseph is a Newark guy. And so he had to come in every day to work with us. So I know shutting down the city would compromise a lot of those things. I think the essential workers, if they showed your credentials, that you could let them through, and then anybody else would get turned around. I guess that's one way to handle it, but I really think it's a financial issue for the politicians. Just shutting down New York would just be a financial compromise. What else you got?
Oh, hold on. It says, "Are you sure Project Park by Grand Army is closed?"
From what I've seen and what I've been told, they're all supposed to be shut down. Maybe they haven't gotten to all the parks yet. I know certain parks, shutting down certain parks are going to be more complicated than others because there are too many points of entry and points of exit. There are no gates. So they may have to put an officer or a sector car there to prevent people from going in, but with the number of entrances, I used to live in that neighborhood, so it could be difficult to shut down parks like Prospect Park and Central Park. But the neighborhood parks, everyone that I've encountered, like I said, they started off with removing basketball hoops, and then they locked the parks down. Folks, again, we're going to do this every Tuesday and Saturday. I'll update you on the numbers. I'll update you on what I'm seeing. I want to hear from you guys, what you're seeing, where you are. Again, what your concerns are. If you have anything to share as far as, like I said, home remedies or sites that we can go to for updates on information, regarding the virus, I would appreciate that. This is healing for me, because quarantine yourself in your home, you have the loved ones at home with you, but I'm just trying to create a platform where we can share, let each other know, cyber hug, all of that good stuff. It's going to be all right. One way or another, it's going to be all right. We're going to enter a world of a new normal when we come through the other side. Let's just protect ourselves so that we do come through the other side. I lost a couple of clients already. I've lost a few friends already. I'm part of the New York City basketball community. We lost some legends this week. So let's do our part, protect ourselves. If you guys are available when I do these lives, please view, please comment. And I guess I'll see you guys on Tuesday, unless you got something else there. All right, folks. I appreciate those of you that have tuned in. I love you all. Let's stay safe. Let's stay positive. And I'll see you on Tuesday. Love you.